If you're stuck in the gym and you cannot grow your bicep, you cannot seem to grow, those small muscles, this video is just for you. I'm going to go over all of the little tips and tricks that I have to ensure that you can see growth as well. Until you've tried all of these different tactics, until you've implemented all these different methods, you have no excuse to have small arms and you have no excuse to have small biceps. So with that being said, let's go over the strategy. So the basic strategy, what we need to do is we need to realize that what we're doing so far isn't really working. And so what we need to do is we need to create a new stimulus, or we need to change the stimulus that's happening, because right now the thing that's happening is not causing us to grow. So my first tactic would be go heavier. Just go heavier. I know we talk a lot about, controlling the weight. Make sure you're doing in this rep, make sure you're sticking in this rep range, make sure you're not using momentum or using controlled momentum. And all of that is true. However, we are stuck now, right? So we need to fight to get out of this rut. So forcing yourself to go to a heavier weight, especially on lighter movements, it's not that dangerous. Yes, we're going to probably fall outside of the optimal rep range. Yes, our movement pattern is probably not going to be, optimal as well. But the change in weight, especially when it comes to small muscle groups, a 5-pound change in weight is going to create a massive difference in stimulus. Even if you can't do even one rep of that weight properly, what you need to do is just try and move it. Get used to moving that weight. It's going to make you become stronger, more powerful. It's just going to make your muscles adapt to that weight. It's okay to, for this phase of your training, it's okay to use a little bit of momentum, use a little bit of swinging, and just try your best to get used to moving that weight with the movement pattern. Another strategy you can use while using this tactic is, if you need to swing the weight up or force it up with a little bit of momentum, try your best to control the negative down. Obviously, don't resist it too hard to the point of injury, but just slow it down enough where it's like you can definitely feel a good amount of tension on the negative. This strategy alone helped me break lots of plateaus, not even for small isolation movements, but also for larger movements as well, such as cable rows. Increasing the weight, using momentum, using a different lifting pattern can help significantly. Number 2 might seem obvious, but a lot of people fail to do this. Use a different movement pattern, or use a different range of motion. If you're only doing regular bicep curls, you gotta switch it up. There's so many different variations you can do. You can use cables, you can use the easy bar. I would recommend incorporating different variations to target different parts of the bicep head. So for example, there are your hammer curls where you kind of go straight up, but you also got your regular curls where you supinate your palms. You can also try a different version where you exaggerate the supination of the palm. So let's say, you start your bicep curl, your hand is like this, then as you twist and lift it up, right? So what you can do is exaggerate that twist so that your pinky gets raised up higher. That creates a nice stimulation right here. And you got your hammer curls to target this part of your biceps. Try and switch up your variations. Try to switch up your movement patterns. Anything that you can do with the movement that changes the stimulus, that creates a new stimulus, is going to benefit you. There's so many variations. I can't go over all of them now. There's like 100 of them. I made a tier list on them. But go and try, experiment with a few different ones. Obviously, what's happening right now isn't providing you the correct stimulus, or, it's not novel anymore. So a novel stimulus is going to help you grow. The next major point I want to talk about is mind-muscle connection. Yeah, I know mind-muscle connection isn't everything. There's so many people who are like, oh yeah, it's not everything. Mind-muscle connection, not everything. You can grow without mind-muscle connection. Bro, don't be a fucking dickhead. Yes, you can grow without mind-muscle connection, and also with mind-muscle connection, it's not everything. Sometimes you might have it and still not experience growth. However, especially if you don't have it and you're stuck, it can mean the world of difference. Personally, I see this a lot with my friends. I also had this issue as well. When I was new to the gym, lateral raises was very difficult for me, and I was only stuck doing the 2.5 pounds or 5 pounds, and I couldn't grow. However, as soon as I created that mind-muscle connection, I was able to feel that muscle working so much better, and I was able to really ramp my progress from there. With some of my friends who are new to the gym, if I see them doing a lateral raise, and I go and I touch them at that part where their side delt is, I can instantly see like their form looks like so much better. It looks really awkward before I touch them, and then when I touch them at the part where their muscle is, you can see it, like the difference. A mind-muscle connection is huge. Yes, it's possible to grow without it, but use your common sense. Of course, it's usually better. especially when it comes to smaller isolated muscles, such as your biceps or your shoulders. It's very easy for other muscles to take over. So the concentrated, effort, the focus on just that muscle is of course going to help you a lot. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is the raw amounts of volume. You can do a lot of volume when it comes to these small muscles. Yeah, you have to understand, of course, the weight you can do is far lower than, let's say, a compound movement. You're using a very small muscle. However, this means that you can do lots of sets. If you're only doing 3 sets of like lateral raises or bicep curls, you could easily do 5, 6 sets in one session. Another thing you can do, for example, for me, I never took shoulders seriously before. I didn't care about aesthetics, and then suddenly I changed up. I kind of did care more. I wanted to grow my side delts a lot. And so I was hitting my side delts 3, even 4 times a week, doing lateral raises at home, even on my rest days. And so that helped me experience growth in my shoulders that I wouldn't have been able to. So, you can use volume, use lots of sets, especially if, especially if that muscle group is very important to you, your biceps or your side delts. You can spam volume. You can spam it. You can do it several days a week, and you can do lots of sets. Don't be afraid of doing lots of volume. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you liked it. I hope there was some useful insight. If you're struggling to grow smaller muscles, unless you've tried all of these strategies, you have no excuse. You got to go and implement these. You got to find a way to make it happen, find a way to work around the issues. Anyways, with that being said, subscribe to stick around for more. Drop any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.